BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. Every stat, matchup, breakdown, even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. With the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA to political props. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet online. The game starts here.
Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. It's a late stream, man. We up in this thing. Sports Coma representing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's poppin', fam? Thank y'all for tuning up and joining me for this episode of the Coma, man. We in here late. But listen, fam, running a little late today. I had a lot of stuff going on today, so I wanted to touch on, do a little stream with you guys before it got too late, man. I was on the Pelican postgame report a little early on, man. The Pels got the dub. We just wrapped that thing up, so I'm jumping on here with y'all now. So the beat don't stop, yeah? So anyway, big ups to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the live. Appreciate all of y'all, man. Good to see you, Joseph, Robert. Good to see you, Lee, Backwoods, Professor. Shout out to you, Professor. Good to see you, Young City Night Ward, Argentine Dogo, Brian's Flat Power Guard, Brian Pearson, Antoinette. Shout out to you, Antoinette. Who that? For life, Chris, Brother Booker. Shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream, man. Let's jump right into some of this stuff, man. As we talked about on this stream, Saints making some moves, man, trying to get ready for this Los Angeles matchup, trying to break this 5-game losing streak and get back on the right side of things. The Saints now facing the next 4 games before the bye week. Very interesting games, man, to be honest with you, because the matchup against the Chargers, they coming off a loss this past week on Monday night, matter of fact, and they were kind of pissed about that. So they'll have an extra motivation to welcome the Saints into their building. And then the following matchup, we have a Carolina team who is going to start Bryce Young this upcoming week. So we'll know if Bryce will be the guy we play 2 weeks from now, but they are a team that's in absolute disarray right now. And then after that game, which both of those games are on the road, we then come home for 2 matchups. We have the Atlanta Falcons, the second of the 2 matchups we play them. That'll be 2 weeks from now. Well, actually 3 weeks from now. And then before the bye, we get Cleveland in the Dome, and Jameis Winston will be the quarterback. You know, that's about a month out from now, but Jameis Winston, if he's healthy, he's going in there. Deshaun Watson is out for the season. They put him on IR. So Jameis Winston will pretty much be running the team. So he'll have an extra ground against the Saints. So, my question would be to the Who Dat family members is how many games do the Saints win out of the next four will basically really decide the fate of this team going forward? It really will. Think about it. How many of the next four games do the Saints win? The only one I got them beaten is Carolina, to be honest with you. And that's two. They show that they can reestablish the running attack. It's been a while since we've seen them do that. Now, of course, my little saying about when Clint Kubiak's away, with Taysom Hill's away, Clint Kubiak can't call a play. We don't look good without Taysom Hill in those games. And if we hadn't lost Taysom Hill in the Atlanta game, who had 2 rushing touchdowns in that game, we would have beat the Falcons in game 1. But then we lost them and didn't know how to use anybody else, and then that led to what happened, part of the 5-game slide. But this is most certainly a dangerous time for the New Orleans Saints. Season is pretty much slipping away, and the next 4 games will decide really the Saints. Even if you say 2-2, that is not good enough. That ain't good enough. 2-2 over the next 4 weeks is not good enough, because you're 2-5 right now. And if you go 2-2, that basically makes you 4-7. No. So these next 4 games, the Saints have to take a game by game approach, and they really have to step up and handle the business. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you, man. Says Who Dat. Appreciate you, brother, for that.
Thank you. Get fucked too kind.
Appreciate you, Michael. Michael was chilling over at the Pelican post-game report, man. We did like an hour and 40 minutes over there, and I'm going to do a little bit here. But shout out to you guys, man. All right. Much love. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, but this will be interesting, man. Let's go over this injury report, man. As the Saints showing 14 guys on the injury list for Wednesday. Matchup against, not the matchup, but the Wednesday injury report. The Pelicans are dropping, showing all the Saints. Derek Carr with an oblique is DNP'd. Nick Saldiveri has a shoulder issue. He's shut down. Cesar Ruiz, who hadn't played in several weeks, was in practice limited with that knee issue. Lucas Patrick, who's been in and out of the game, another Saints starter, he is practicing on a limited basis. Pete Werner, who had some hamstring issues, he is limited. Connor McGovern, who's the guy we picked up off the practice squad, he got a back problem. He was limited. Colin Saunders, who was dealing with a back issue as well, he was limited. Chris Olave, who had a concussion issue, he was limited. Taysom Hill, who have some broken ribs, according to the reports, the street talk is saying, and other injuries, he was limited. Cedric Wilson had a hip, he was limited. Jawan with a shoulder, he was limited. Marshawn had a hamstring issue, he fully practiced. And Spencer Rattler had a little hip issue that he fully practiced behind. So a lot of guys, man. These are some of the guys right now we're looking at, in particular, the offensive line. Cesar Ruiz, Lucas Patrick, that's 2 of the Saints' 5, 2 of the, well, you have Tali Fuaga and Trevor Penning. You get Cesar Ruiz, Lucas Patrick, and get those guys back in there. And you got 2 more starting offensive linemen back in there. So if those guys are healthy enough to go, then you're looking at 4 of your 5 starting offensive linemen back. And of course, you don't think they're going to pick up from scratch. Number one, it is some rust factor that you got to look at, especially with Cesar Ruiz. He's been out for a while. But still in all, you look at the Saints, that's still a positive thing, because those backups are awful. We're looking at the film work. I did the film work to break down for the family members is on Patreon for the Saints Broncos matchup. And when you look at the footage of these backup offensive linemen, when they pull late, they don't seal. Oftentimes they don't, like Trevor Penning, like in the Denver Broncos tape, I don't give him a high mark in what he was doing in terms of run blocking in the Broncos game. It's just some of these guys, it's just, we got to get better there. We got to get better there. We have to get better, and getting these other guys back. I'm enthused to get Cesar Ruiz back and a Lucas Patrick back, because what they look like trying to run the ball is pathetic, man. It's so pathetic. And I don't see how a professional football coach who studies, or an offensive line coach, or any coach that study offensive film, that's an offensive lineman, coach on that side of the field could study that tape and not look at the Saints running attack, not the passing, because they do a better job of pass blocking. That run blocking in many plays was just awful. I mean, it was awful and stupid. Weak, stupid. It was just, I'm like, man, no cohesion there, blocking, they pulling. And even when the play starts outright, some kind of way, when they have the numbers, they still end up allowing Alvin to get minimal yardage. It was a handful of plays where he was able to pick up a few yardage and something decent. But my goodness, even when they had the blocker set, some kind of way they just ended up screwing it up. It's hard for me to watch that film, man. It's hard for me to watch the film. It's in many cases, it's so awful. It just pisses me off to watch how poor it is. And we going into week number 8 and the backups look that awful and they say they practicing. I done heard them sometimes say, hey man, yeah, we had some good practices. What the hell is what? No, how you practice is what you look like in these games. And they looked absolutely, just pissed me off. If I was the coach, I would have cut a lot of those backups. I would have put them in the street, man. Guys couldn't even block. They couldn't even get there on time to set the play up correctly. And then some of the time when they got there, they didn't even block the effing guy. It's just awful. Anyway, the Chargers, man, they got a bunch of stuff going on with them. Wide receiver Darius Davis is DNP'd. Will Dissly, the tight end. Hayden Hurst, another tight end. Both of those guys is DNP'd. Ladd McConkey, the wide receiver, he was DNP'd with a hip issue. Denzel Perryman, the linebacker, was DNP'd. Wide receiver Quentin Johnston, big wide receiver, was DNP'd with an ankle issue. Bosa was limited. DJ Chalk, the former LSU wide receiver, he was limited. Cornerback Christian Fulton, another LSU guy, was limited. Khalil Mack was put on rest, and of course limited was Jasir Taylor. So the Chargers have some people banged up, man, and like I said, they coming off a loss last week. I think it was Arizona they lost on Monday night. I know it was a Monday night game, so they're on a short week. The Saints on a long week, so statistically it's supposed to benefit you when you have the Saints played that Thursday and they had a mini bye. They had enough time to rest guys, refocus, get some guys back, and perhaps that slight edge or advantage is pretty significant because you have a team you ain't played since Thursday. You had all that rest leading into it, and the team you playing just played on Monday night. And of course, the game is set up to be for an afternoon game, so that don't forget that the Los Angeles game and the Saints is set for the afternoon time coming up Sunday. So yeah, so we'll see how it all plays, man. But yes, indeed. All right. So yes, man, I'm very encouraged. I'm gonna just keep it honest with you. Some of our offensive linemen like Cesar Ruiz and Lucas Patrick is there. I'm encouraged about Pete Werner possibly getting back to business. Chris Olave, Taysom Hill. Those are big names for the Saints right there. As you can see, Elvin's on that list too, a hand in the rib situation. So like I said, man, we're going to need better play from the offensive linemen to win any of these games. They have to establish the run. So with Taysom Hill getting back in there, man, that's just another weapon we have to try to help out. And, of course, the Saints did sign Marquez Valdes-Scantling to bring him in to help with the wide receiver duties. And make no bones about it, even though Scantling's not a big-name player, Scantling does have a skill set that will help the Saints because he's the shit. I mean, outside of you would have a healthy Chris Olave and a Rashid Shaheed, you put Scantling with that, that's actually a pretty decent unit. That's a lot better than Cedric Wilson Jr., who hadn't been able to do a damn thing. Cedric Wilson Jr. has not been effective for the Saints. He's not even, blocking, nothing is off the, and I no disrespect, brother. I'm just looking at the tape. Your tape don't look like all that. It don't look like all that. So hopefully a guy that's 6'4", who has a good 40 time, can kind of stretch the field and help out in combination with a Chris Olave. So, I was hoping the Saints would do something from an offensive standpoint. And they pretty much just, signed Scantling. They did re-up with Alvin Kamara, which was a positive, which we'll cover that just a second. But this is what I want to kind of show y'all about. Speaking of Marquez Valdes-Scantling, this is what Sport Track had dropped. They gave you his contract with the Saints. And I don't know if it's been reported yet, but this is what I got from them. Scantling signed a 1 year, $1.125 million contract with the Saints, including an average annual salary of 1.1 plus. Will earn a base salary of $687,500 while carrying a cap hit of $687.5 or $687.5. 1 year, 1.1 plus is the contract terms according to Sport Track. It's a 1 year deal. He becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2025. So this is just something I wanted to share the contract specifics with you guys, because we also know about the Alvin Kamara situation going into it. So we're going to see what's happening with that, man. We're going to see what's happening. And besides, and speaking of this, going into this report here, of course, this happened the other day. The Saints and running back Alvin Kamara agreed on a 2-year deal, $24.5 million. That puts him under contract through the 2026 season. The deal confirmed that Kamara's agent of QC Sports puts the 2017 third-round pick in position to retire a Saint. This is something that Alvin Kamara wanted. This is something that Alvin Kamara asked for, Cam Jordan asked for, and I'm glad that the Saints were finally able to get this deal done, to get Alvin Kamara's contract done for the next 2 years. It fits the timeline and the window, and particularly it would be different if you had a person in place that was ready to step into the reins of the offense and then move forward with the future of the team. That no such person exists, which makes the decision to re-sign Alvin Kamara. If you're using him in a group role, he's not featured or shouldn't be featured. Maybe some games you let him cut loose, but he works better in league with a group approach. So if you have Alvin with Taysom, Alvin with Kendre Miller, Alvin with Jamal Williams, guys like that, him in tandem with that helps out. You can, and also he's so unique, you can move him all around there and give other running backs opportunities to be running backs. He don't have to be a running back all the time. He can go and play wide receiver for you if you need him to. Just move him around and be more imaginative with Alvin Kamara. And like I said, there's nobody right now in the team. You can't say Kendre Miller, because Kendre Miller can't prove to you yet that he can stay healthy. So this was a no-brainer to me. And plus 2 years at 25 or 24.5 or whatever the hell it was. Yeah, 24.5. That is it's a good pickup for Alvin Kamara. And plus he's a couple hundred yards off from being the Saints all-time guy. He earned it, man. If anybody earned it, AK earned it. And then they did it for Cam Jordan. So he basically said the same thing. Cam said he wanted to retire as Saints. Saints ain't have any bones about it. They put Cam there. I'm pretty sure Alvin Kamara's last couple of years as a Saint will be a lot more productive than Cam Jordan's. Let's just say that much, right? Let's just say that much. Anyway, let's keep it moving, man. So congratulations to Alvin Kamara on that, for him getting the deal, man, and becoming, he's 234 yards from becoming a franchise all-time leading rusher, AK-41. Little dude, a third-round selection out of Tennessee. Came in here and just handled the business. True star, man, and it just sends a really good message to players, especially if you're the New Orleans Saints organization. It sends a good message to people that come here and want to perform and want to play at a high level, that you will be rewarded here, because this don't happen often. It really doesn't happen often where players, superstar players, start and finish with the team. Not in the modern NFL does this happen often. And we've seen, over the last couple of years, we've seen two Saints all-time greats get contracts that'll lock them up for the rest of their career and make them all-time Saints, Cam Jordan and now Alvin Kamara. So, yeah, it doesn't happen that often. So it's a very positive thing when you do see it does happen. So not bad at all for AK-41. All right. And like I said, man, it's one of the situations where we kind of look at and kind of think about this stuff with some of these guys making it back to practice, Cesar Ruiz, Taysom Hill, Chris Olave, Pete Werner, and all these guys, because we could use some help. Defensively speaking, our defense is really kind of falling through the flow. We need to kind of fix it, and we need to get back to business, to be honest with you. Here's a couple of the rankings that's out there right now, fam. As we get tuned up for the Chargers are 3-3. I'm not going to do the preview show for this. This will be a Friday show. Tomorrow we'll do the Saints and Chargers preview, and I'll kind of revisit some of these statistics, and we'll get familiar with who is on their team, who's the top guys, in terms of passing, rushing, tackling, their style. We'll talk about all that on tomorrow's stream. But record-wise, they're 3-3, doing a little better than us. Right now, Saints sitting up there at 2-5, looking to just get right, man. Big problem for the Saints on offense. We can't run the ball. That's the number one thing. We can't run the ball offensively. That has to change to give Spencer Rattler an opportunity. And Spencer's going to be back, of course. Gives us the Saints the best chance to win right now. He's a mobile guy that can move, getting a lot of good reps right now that'll help him develop in the future. But the reality is there is no success without the running attack. And the Saints right now, they ain't doing too good with it, man. They have not been able to. So getting Cesar Ruiz back, getting Lucas Patrick back to practice, getting those guys there, perhaps we can reestablish the running attack with Taysom back there and Alvin and all these guys. Maybe. Scantling, how would you get Scantling involved with Rashid Shaheed being out? Chris Olave's coming back. So we do have some of these people. Maybe that can breathe some more new life into the Saints offense so we can get that running attack going. Two starters back into the lineup and get these crummy backups back to the bench, hopefully off the team or whatever. That practice squad is aptly named because these goddamn backups need all the practice in the world, man. That tape is awful on these guys. They're terrible. Anyway, you look at some of the rank here on the Saints and talking about defensively. So offensively, one of the biggest problems, Saints can't run the ball. Defensively, the biggest problem is Saints can't stop the run. We've seen the last 5 weeks during the losing streak, teams just beat the Saints up. We've seen it in the Denver matchup with some of the no-name ass backups just tear the Saints up. The Saints, I have to give it to them. I have to give credit to the Saints' shitty defense's performance over the last several weeks because they're equal opportunity shitty defense. They don't matter if you're a team that got a good running back like Saquon Barkley, or you have two no-name ass running backs like Tampa Bay had. They're equal to opportunity shitty defense. He can run for 140, you can run for 200. So we have to shut that down. The Saints have to figure a way to stop from being ran on. That's a major point of contention. We got to run the ball offensively, and we have to stop the run. That is fundamental pieces to any building. If you got a good team, that if you want to sustain any success in the NFL and talking about building and getting out of a 5-game losing streak, you have to run the ball and you have to stop the goddamn run. There's no success without that. And of course, you look at some of these statistics right here, it doesn't look all that good, right? Look at these rankings here. Total offensive rank, the Saints are 21st in the NFL. They're 19th tied for that. And I think a lot of that is starting to pull down. Over the last 5 games, you're starting to see the Saints with all the things that's going on with them. These two outstanding week 1 and 2 performances that really spiked the statistics up. You're starting to see them really drop back and normalize to what the Saints actually are currently. Their total defense, the Saints are ranked dead last in total defense right here. They're dead last. Look at this. They're in total defense. They are allowing almost 395 yards per game. That's dead last in the NFL. The rushing defense allows over almost 147 yards a game. That's 28th in the NFL. The passing defense is giving up 248 yards a game. That's 28th. So at no part of this is good. So the defense can't stop a nosebleed. Literally, you can pass on them at 248, or you can run at them at 147. Both are 28th ranked. So this is horrible. This is horrible, especially if you got a team that can't run the ball and the defense that can't stop a nosebleed. Where do they get better at? Now you do get Pete Werner. He's practicing again. We lost to Debo for the season. So Kool-Aid McKinstry, the rookie, steps into it. We lost Will Harris to safety. So we have a couple of issues right there. The Saints did put Jonathan Abram in the street. They did release Jonathan Abram and put him in the street. And I say probably be looking to see guys like Ugo Amadi get an opportunity to play because Jonathan Abram looked horrible. When they did put him in there, he didn't look good the last couple of games. And the Saints team we seen, they put him in the street. So That was a tough one, but at the end of the day, I understand and respect what you're trying to do because we got to stop the slide, man. We got to do everything we can to stop the slide. It's just not a good look right now. And like I said, man, it's getting kind of hectic. It's really getting kind of hectic, if you know what I mean, because it's crazy. But yes, like I said, they did have the situation, and let me give y'all a transaction report because this happened the other day as well, where the Saints did announce these moves. They announced that they brought in Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And then a corresponding move, they put Paulson Adebo with a leg injury on IR. Then they signed safety Rod Teamer. They brought him back, and defensive back Shamar Jean-Charles. Both guys were practice squad guys. They put them to the practice squad and then terminated the contract of Jonathan Abrams and Chris Reed. You're like, who the hell is Chris Reed? Chris Reed is that 9-year guard that the Saints picked up some time ago. And they ultimately put his ass in the street. I want to say they picked this guy up and opened a spot for him by releasing A.T. Perry. I want to say this is who they did it for. I'm going to have to go back and look it up. But this is who the guy they picked up from Minnesota, a 9-year veteran, and he couldn't bust a grape in the fruit fight. But at the end of the day, he ends up on the street. And he couldn't help you win. So it's interesting, man, to watch all this crap happen with these guys, man. All I'm saying is at the end of the day, the Saints have to do a better job than what the hell they've been doing. The defense is not good right now. They have to do a lot better job than what the hell they've been doing, just keeping it all the way funky with you. So terrible, man. Terrible and awful all at the same time, man. Saints got a lot to do. They got a lot to turn around. 5-game slide. They gotta go out to Los Angeles. They gotta handle business against the Chargers, man. We gotta turn it around, man. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right. Anyway, fam, let's move on. I just wanted to share a few stats with you on that. And of course, I'm gonna play a few little videos from you. We're gonna hear from a few people and hear from the first time. This is the first time we're gonna tune him up. Scantling, who is now a Saint player. And like I said, a lot of people are not really big on Scantling. I think Scantling's a good player for the Saints insofar as what he could do. The size, 6'4", got good speed, and he'll be a good big wide receiver opposite of like a guy like Chris Olave. Like he's a complement guy. You got the speedy person, like, and that's what the thinking of it was originally when you had Chris Olave here with Michael Thomas. You had the big physical possession guy, Michael Thomas, and then the speed option and Chris Olave. But all of a sudden, something changed there. When Michael Thomas, was released and Cedric Wilson was supposed to come in, and then they were trying to pit him as the possession guy. Cedric Wilson never caught up. So they was like, oh, man, we need to do something with Rashid Shaheed gone, who's the third guy who's supposed to be the one that stretched the thing. But some kind of way the Saints said, nah, we like Olave and Rashid to be the top guys to do that. And Cedric Wilson never fit. He never fit in. Even right now with those guys was hurt, he made a few catches, but he's nothing impactful. He doesn't have any speed, and he's really just basically a possession guy that can catch a few passes here or there, but this guy gives them a speed component and size component that they simply didn't have. And he's basically, like you look at an A.T. Perry, he's pretty much to a degree, like, he's an advanced version of A.T. Perry. He's the same height as A.T. Perry. His speed is about right where it is. But you would think potentially A.T. Perry has more potential than Scantling, but Scantling can help, But anyway, let's hear from him right quick, fam. And y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear. Scantling gonna play a few minutes from his interview.
Practice with the Saints and how this all came about.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to get back out there and move around a little bit. Trying to pick up the offense, learn the new system. It's very similar to the offense that I had when I was in Green Bay a couple years ago. So there's some carryover there. I'm just excited, man. Trying to bring a spark to this team. They started off hot, 2-0. Dropped the last 5 games, so just want to be able to come in and contribute any way I can.
What's some of the elements that you feel like you can bring to this offense because they've been a little stagnant here lately? Yeah, I mean, obviously they lost some guys at the wideout position. Obviously, injuries is a huge part of the game. So being able to
come in and just provide the big playability that I've had over my whole career. I just want to get back to doing that and being able to push the ball down the field so we can score some points.
How anxious were you to get with an organization to get back on the field?
I mean, it's football, man, and you love the game and you want to compete. Obviously I was in Buffalo for the beginning of the season. I was on the field, I was playing. It just didn't translate over to, what we both wanted out of it. So we're both looking for fresh starts. And I was able to get released and find a new home.
Dude got MVS earrings. He got his own earrings, got MVS on it. All right, Jerry said, what is this? This is your new wide receiver, OG. This is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. This is your new wideout, brother. This is the new guy the Saints signed to replace, I ain't going to say replace Rashid Shaheed, but they need help from the wide receiver position. They did bring a guy, what's his name, Pettis, who's a practice squad wide receiver, but this guy has some starting level experience, right? And that's what you're going to need moving forward, especially with Rashid Shaheed pretty much done for the time frame what they had. So they needed help. So they did a good job in getting him to come here to pair him with Chris Olave. So, like I said, he is not like a superstar wide receiver. That's not even what the guy is. You know what I mean? He's a compliment guy. He's 6'4". He has really good speed, and he'll be called upon to help the Saints. He's a decent blocker, and he'll be called upon to help the Saints to keep the offense going. So it's not a bad move to get Scantling. It's actually a pretty solid move to pick him up. The Saints just have to complete the deal. Whoever you got, Scantling is not it. You got Chris Olave and Scantling, but who's going to be the third guy? At some point, the Saints have to discover who that guy is. They've been kind of pushing Mason Tipton to be the third wide receiver. He hadn't arrived yet, Mason Tipton, in terms of being the guy. Maybe he does now when he slides inside to play that position. Maybe he can sneak a few people here with Mason Tipton. You get what I'm saying? Maybe he does, but he hadn't hit yet like we was expecting him to kind of get going. But this is a Scantling, man. Let's hear a few more words from him.
Close for you to come in here, and I think 22 they made a push for you.
Yeah, I was super close. I was actually on my visit to the Chiefs, and I was walking out of the door to come down here to get on the plane, and Chiefs wouldn't let me leave, and that's the history of it. But I was very close to coming here. My family's from New Orleans, my dad's side of the family, so just I'm very familiar with it. Obviously, I grew up in St. Pete, but my Nana is a big Saints fan, so she's going to be ecstatic to come to a game.
That's good information. He don't sound like he from down here, but I guess, like he said, he been away, man. Sometimes that's happened. So yeah, this is a good choice for the Saints, and to be honest with you, good teams make good moves happen. If you're a contender and you believe in what you're doing and you're trying to compete for big blue chips, you do what you do, like what the Kansas City Chiefs did. The Chiefs are undefeated right now, and they just continue to keep it rolling. And some people find it, and I understand, like, some of it has a certain degree of difficulty, like to get to winning and doing things that you're supposed to do. But with this team going out and getting DeAndre Hopkins, so they traded for DeAndre Hopkins from the Titans, and they bring him in there. So there was words, it was rumors circulating around what they were going to do in terms of going and get Tyreek Hill and all that. And the Dolphins wasn't trying to cut him loose. But good teams do great things. And when this happened right here, when you seen the Chiefs turn around and added Hopkins, they finalizing the trade to get DeAndre Hopkins, that makes it all look sense. Make it make sense, doesn't it? When you're a team about winning and competing at a high level, you do moves like this. The Chiefs are a championship caliber team. They got there because they make championship moves. They're real about what their team is. They're real about the window of their team. They're real about getting the quarterback, a running game, adding players, and they've been suffering injuries as well. Pacheco, that fantastic running back they have, he's hurt. They had to bring in a running back, and he ran all over the Saints, by the way. He had 140 yards in his first game against the Saints. They had wide receiver injuries. That's why they had to trade for Hopkins. They could have got any old body, but they went for a top-notch talent to add to their quarterback. They got one of the best, if not the best, head coach in football right now, Andy Reid. They're competitively and consistently at the top of the AFC, playing in AFC championship games and going to the Super Bowl. Now, there are teams that, there's levels to this. Obviously, they're at the top of the food chain, and then you have teams, the rest of these other teams fighting to get where it is, because there only be one king of the mountain. It ain't made for everybody, so somebody got to push somebody off the top of the mountain to take the position. The problem is you notice what a championship team is by the moves that they're making. What takes a championship team movements also is tied to the organization and the thought process, the universal thought process of where the team is going. It's all about the vision. Now, do the Saints brass see this as a championship team? See that they're a team that's pushing to make a Super Bowl? Hell, Super Bowl is in your backyard this year. If you're not thinking about being in it, then what you doing it for? You've lost focus. And like I said, the Saints organization is precarious because at the end of the day, one dude is driving the boat, and all of the other people, they just advocate it to them. They don't check. It's just so irresponsible because nobody is evaluating them. Even Mike Hoss, who usually throws softball questions, asked him a pretty decent question. Who's evaluating you? He asked him that last year, and he said, I don't know. That's a no. That means nobody's evaluating you. Everybody's supposed to be getting evaluated in the league, especially in the competitive NFL. You can't afford anybody any comfort, especially if you're not winning. You can't be comfortable. That's why I applaud what Dallas is doing. They lighting a fire under Jerry Jones' ass. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to sit on your hands when this team looking stupid and shitty like this. They falling through the flow and using and saying, well, they banged up. That ain't no excuse. We don't want to hear it. Is that an excuse when he said, well, listen, this such, you can't get a check because you ain't play? No, they're going to want their goddamn check whether they played or not. So, at the end of the day, it's a mindset. And at times you question whether or not the Saints have the mindset to compete with teams that have the mindset to win. It's just a whole different thing altogether. It's crazy. But anyway, they get Scantling. We'll see what happens. This is Dennis Allen. He talked today. We'll play some of what Dennis says. Hemisphere says, my questions I have is why wait till you're depleted of injuries and on a 5-game slide to make moves that could have already been done? It's called lack of vision, my friend. Hemisphere is called lack of vision. Having lack of vision is a terrible thing. The Saints lack the vision, and they're so ignorant and trifling, they don't even realize they have a bad plan. They don't even realize it. And because there's no committee approach at that level. You need like a committee approach at the top of the team. You don't put one guy there and say you're responsible for all the moves, because all these other guys underneath him can talk to him, but ultimately he has the last say. And this is not the right guy to do that with, because his even though he picked Sean Payton, if it wasn't for Sean Payton, period, he wouldn't have what he has. Because he could not replicate the success when Sean Payton left. He didn't have the vision to build a bridge from one dynasty to the next, or from one era to a next. He basically latched onto it and let it die before he did something about it. That's a guy with no vision. So it would take a lot to get him out of here, and it starts with you guys. You would have to basically boycott them. That will force Gail to look at the books and see the money down, and then that would get her and Lauscher to start doing something about Loomis. So you got to go all the way around him to get there, because he knows that you know that he stinks and he sucks, and it's time for him to get up off the pot. But he's not going to get it because he's hard-headed, stubborn, and blind. So we have a whole different set of issues going on with the team at the top. That's real spill there. And people say, Q, just fire Dennis Allen. You could fire Dennis Allen, but Dennis Allen ain't totally the problem. That's like cutting off, if you got cancer, that's like removing the part that you see on top of the skin and not going underneath that to see if anything else is left there. That dude is a cancer on this team. And then people who not thinking will say, well, Q, look at all this stuff he done. That was in the past, man. We applaud you for what you did in the past, but that is in the past. The past is the past, man. That's like old Slim said back in the day. Slim said from The Wire, he said the thing about the old days, they the old days. That's game. So there would be no Dennis Allen if it wasn't for Mickey Loomis telling you, comparing him to Bill Walsh and all this. He is the cancer of this team. That's why they don't talk about winning the Super Bowl. They talk about trying to get to the playoffs. Getting to the playoffs and the Super Bowl is two different things. Teams that want to win say what they're trying to do. They put their team on the spot. And still in all, despite a 5-game losing streak, I have not yet to hear any of these team members holding player-only meetings to say, man, we need to get right. We need to do this. We need to get. I don't hear no player-only meetings. They didn't do it last year when the team was stinking. They don't. No player-only meetings. None of that. They get their goddamn check and they go somewhere. So it's just, it takes. I want players that's playing for beyond the check. You ain't come here just to collect a goddamn check. I want winners down here that want to win and take it to the next level. That's what I want. I don't want no bullshit players down here who can't even block collecting a check and the Saints letting them do it without throwing these bums in the street. Them bums on them tapes I'm watching, these backups are not good, man. I was saying that, man, we need better backups. Ali Udo, why is he still on this team? Why is he? That guy is not good. That guy can't block. These other guys can't even block. How do you have offensive linemen? I'm not just saying one piece of film. I'm talking about multiple games, them doing the same shit over and over again. They can't even block. They can't even block, man. And you practice, and these guys been on the team since the summertime, and they running the same damn plays. And that offense is not running double motion and all this kind of stuff. They got that offense so dumbed down, man, that anybody can get out there and run it. It's dumbed down. It looks simplistic, and they running the same plays, and they can't even get the blocks right. And I'm talking about the interior guys, and even Trevor Penning on tape over the last couple of games. It looks suspect on the run. It's just awful. I'm pissed off watching the tape, and I ain't even an offensive line coach. I don't see how Benton can sleep at night watching them look like that. They look awful, man. And then going to Clint Kubiak and crying to him and saying, hey, bro, listen, we need to get these fucking guys out of here and bring somebody in here. We need more guys. We need better blockers. These guys are not cutting the mustard. Enough with the personal crap. This is a business. We need to win. Because our time window is getting up out of here. We've lost 5 in a row. Even if they go 2-2 over the next 4 before the bye, that's not good enough. They got to win 3 games, at least 3 of the next 4 games to get back into this thing. If not all of the games. They're 2-5. You can't go 2-2. 2-2 makes you 4-7 before into the bye. You got to go 3-1 or 4-0. You got to get on the plus side of things. I know you're going to get the Carolina win, but you need to get wins against the Chargers. You need to get a win against the Browns. You need to get, you need to beat the Falcons. We don't need the Falcons to sweep you. We don't need the Falcons to sweep the Saints. So it's just real spiel. But anyway, let's listen to Dennis Allen. Y'all put one in the chat.
Good. How are you, Todd?
I'm good.
I think I've seen you in a while.
Hold on, fam. Just a second here. Stupid ads is going on when it gets done. I'll roll it back to you. But yeah, this is a part of the game, man. We got to work on, man. Got to get it right. We got to get this stuff right with the team. And I don't know. It's weird energy all around when you look at guys like Dennis Allen and the way he talking in this press conference, almost like he ain't worrying about too much.
I'm good.
I think I've seen you in a while.
Will it be Spencer Sunday?
I think so. Yeah.
What is the latest with Derek Carr and like?
I think he's in the process of going through the progression and throwing. I don't know that he'll be ready for Sunday, but we'll keep going throughout the week and see where we're at.
How was Mark?
I thought he did some nice things. He's obviously a bigger receiver, he runs really well. I think we'll.
Yeah, bro. I know. I got an alert about it. Dealing with it is just unfortunate. Dejounte Murray, who's the star guard the Pelicans picked up in a trade to kind of solidify the team fractured his left hand. Now he's right-handed, so the fracture is on the left hand, and he's saying that it is diagnosed with a broken hand, which means it says now it's sidelined for an extended period of time. I think I did the medicals on the Pelican post-game report and pulled it up, and the extended timeline is anywhere between 8 to 12 weeks, I want to say. It was, and we'll see, man. So prayers up to Dejounte Murray. It's just a tough blow, but it happened early in the season, which means we should get him back, within, hopefully before December to help out. But the Pelicans are deep. They just have to make some moves, man. It's a part of the test. And, man, like I said, these are tests that good teams, if you're a good team, you got to overcome. Back to Dennis Allen we go.
Kind of evaluate the practice and how well he's picking things up and, see how quickly he can learn.
Fairly obvious question, but how good was it to see some of the guys take some seats?
Yeah, it was good to see some of these guys back out, at least in some form of practice in a limited form. But yeah, I think we had several guys that were back out there at least participating in some form or fashion.
Dennis, can you just get into signing Alvin to the extension and what he means to the organization?
Yeah, look, Alvin's been, a great player for us. He's been very productive for us. I think this year he's been outstanding. He's come in every day and gone to work and done the things that we've asked him to do. And so I think when you do those things, you get rewarded.
There's you often hear of guys disgruntled in a contract situation and it becomes like a big problem. From day one of training camp, he clearly said it wasn't going to be, and clearly by performance, it's not. That is kind of special in your business that somebody is able to act the right way through this kind of thing.
I think he handled it the right way. I don't think there was ever a question of whether we wanted Alvin to be here or not. I don't think there was ever a question whether Alvin wanted to be here or not. There's a business side of it and a business aspect to it, and so I think he handled it the right way. He came in, did his job, did the things he was supposed to do. And finally, the business side made sense on both sides, and we were able to get something done.
So for Derek, unlikely to practice at all this week, or?
Yeah, I think we're just going to take him day by day and see where he's at. But, he wasn't ready to go today. We'll see where he's at tomorrow.
What are some of the things that stand out about the Chargers?
Well, look, I think, they're obviously a very physical team. They play a physical brand of football in all three phases. I think, defensively, they've done a good job of, minimizing points, keeping everything in front of them. They tackle really well. They play hard. They got a couple of edge pressure guys that can get after the quarterback. I think they, interior, they're pretty stout in the run game. So I think those are the things they're doing well. Defensively, offensively, I think they've been able to run the ball, pretty effectively. Looks like the quarterback's getting healthy, threw the ball really well last week, on Monday night against Arizona. So, I just think they're well coached. They got good schemes. They execute at a high level. And so I think they're playing pretty well.
You had talked Thursday night about guys getting away and sort of getting a mental refresh. Do you see any evidence that happened, now that you're back?
Yeah. I think there was a little energy back out there today. And, we're going to need that again tomorrow. And, hopefully that'll continue throughout the week. And we'll have that on Sunday in LA.
For the timing of Alvin's contract, does it do anything for the group that, a 5-game losing streak guy gets paid? Does it have an effect on the locker room?
It's hard for me to answer that question. I think, it just goes to show that, when guys come in and they do what they're asked to do, and they perform, then they tend to get rewarded for that. And I think in his particular, situation, his circumstance, for him to come in and go through all the training camp and then play the way he has, this early part of the season, I think, is a credit to him.
For Spencer, obviously the first two games came very close together. How valuable was this kind of extended break?
I think it's valuable for a lot of guys. A, we're going to get some guys back, and B, you get a chance to kind of, sit back and reevaluate, those last couple of games and what you did well, what you need to improve on, and that's everybody, coaches, players, everybody, and get ready for the next one.
Has there been any concern about, keeping Spencer's confidence up to, it's maybe a difficult few weeks to start his career, or does his personality kind of?
I think he handles that stuff pretty well. I don't think he lets a lot of stuff get to him too much. And like I said, look, there's been some bright spots in the things that he's done. And yet there's things that he has to improve on, which is to be expected, for any rookie, and in particular a guy that's playing the quarterback position. And so, and look, he's been, he's thrust into a little bit of a difficult situation with, a lot of guys on, up front that were banged up and down, and last game, missing the 2 starting receivers. So, but I think, overall, I think he's done some good things, and I'm excited about, seeing him operate, and in particular, hopefully with, maybe getting some guys back.
I guess it's been in the sense of, you're always hard on yourself, right? So as a rookie, I didn't know if you ever have to, like, as a coach, say, like, I don't know, you're doing fine or whatnot, or he just has a personality that he just kind of.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously you got to coach him. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes that's encouraging. Sometimes that's hard coaching. I think there's a little bit all that goes along with that. Well, look, I don't know that there's another player in this league that's like him, that can do all the different things that he can do. And so I know it's troubling for a defense to, have to prepare for him. And so hopefully, he'll be able to be out there on Sunday and be effective and help us play good offense.
Similar question, but what did y'all miss about the season?
Well, look, I mean, I think he's got experience. Like I said earlier in the year, we kind of had 2 spots starting the season off that we felt, pretty good about on the offensive line. And then to lose, both of those guys, him and Eric, for an extended period of time, I think was a challenge for us. So getting him back in, getting him acclimated, getting him back working, I think, hopefully that'll help us in terms of protection. Hopefully that'll help us in terms of, the run game. But look, I think Caesar's a good player, and anytime you get a good player back, it helps.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. The Taysom Hill thing, man, to talk about with the Taysom Hill thing, I just hope these guys don't overuse Taysom again. Because that Kubiak guy he's just the worst with that. Like, he get Taysom Hill back, he licking his chops. He put Taysom over here, and then it's just not a good look. Man, don't you understand, bro? We got a long season here. You can't overuse Taysom Hill. You can't play him here and there. I know he got great versatility, but you mix in other guys like that. Like, if you got Taysom Hill playing fullback, you have him here for a little bit, but you got a fullback. The dude's name is Adam Prentice. You got a fullback. And just hopefully when you get Taysom Hill back, you use him in ways that kind of help other guys get opportunities too, not just let Taysom eat, but maybe some of these other guys could eat. And maybe you can get Jamal involved. Maybe you can get Kendra involved. Maybe you can play Taysom outside. You got issues at the wide receiver position. Maybe we can place him there to kind of draw some attention. This Clint Kubiak gets in there. That's the major issue that I have with Clint Kubiak for the last 5 weeks of this losing streak, his inability to get other guys involved in his offense. I mean, I just don't understand. It's like he don't know who these guys are when he was practicing and picked these guys in preseason. Like Jordan Mims. Jordan Mims was tearing it up in preseason, but Jordan Mims barely got reps. He got some reps in the last game, but these guys are not getting reps like that where they can be impactful. Like, you give Jamal Williams 4 reps, 4 carries over 2 games, man. What are he supposed to do with that bullshit? I mean, seriously, what is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do with that? And then people look at it and say Jamal Williams is garbage. But then 2 effing years ago, the man had 1,000+ yards and 17 stinking rushing touchdowns that led the NFL 2 years ago. He comes to the Saints and gets dog poop, man. Come on. Jamal Williams ain't garbage. It's how the Saints using this guy. You mean to tell me another team can get 17 rushing touchdowns out of him in one season, but another team can barely get 3? Come on, man. That's not even close to logical. The Saints are not using these guys correctly. And that's the thing, that a challenge that I put out to Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak when he has all of his players, he runs a mean system. But that's the thing. In the NFL, it's a physical league. You're going to lose guys. Some of these guys, you just not going to have access to them. Like Rashid Shaheed, when we were force feeding, Rashid Shaheed over the last couple of games, especially the last game. I'm like, when did Rashid Shaheed become Chris Olave? Prior to the concussion. That's why Olave's brother came out on social media. Remember that? And was criticizing. When did Rashid Shaheed become Chris Olave? Rashid's good, but he's not Chris Olave. Olave's the best guy you got there. You're trying to force the ball to him. And I'm like, man, I'm like, dude, fix your goddamn offensive line, dude. It's like, bro, and the tape, man, listen, maybe we're hoping that they're not as intelligent as some people looking at the film, but my goodness, at least one play every Saints offense involves rolling out the rookie, rolling out Spencer Rattler to either the left or right. The Saints did it in the matchup against the Broncos, and they got hip to it to the point where they started rolling. They figured it out. They got the pattern. At least one time every possession, they do a rollout with him. I'm like, dude, listen, you're going to need some help there. So hopefully getting Cesar Ruiz and Lucas Patrick back there helps the Saints get some semblance of a running attack because, man, we need the running attack to beat these teams and we need to stop the run. So that's a big problem that we have right now. And like I said about Clint Kubiak, his over-reliance on Taysom Hill is disgusting, man. Like, Hugh, you got to lean on your guys. Yeah, you lean on them, but take an account that these guys are hurt. Taysom Hill is coming back from injury. He got hurt before he came back. He got hurt. The guy's dealing with busted ribs. Alvin Kamara's got busted ribs as well and dealing with some other injuries. These guys are beat the you-know-what up. You can't put everything on these guys. You got to spread it out to the rest of the guys that you have. And this guy is so infuriating to watch the tape and see this guy sit up here and he can't adjust. I'm like, oh, no, you ain't ready for no coaching job, dog. No, you got to be able to adjust. That dude cannot adjust. And I mean adjust is like, well, what you want him to do, Q? I want him to fix the goddamn line by getting better backups in there. Recognize and seeing what I see, that these flipping guys on the inside cannot block. They don't block consistently. To spring simple blocking patterns like you block this guy and then shed off of him and get to the linebacker level, like what we seen what the Broncos was doing to the Saints offense. They were getting to the Saints and the linebackers was shedding off of blockers to get to spots where Alvin Kamara wanted to run. They were filling in the holes, wait for Alvin Kamara. And you had an unintelligent Saints offensive line during blocks. It's like a glitch in the matrix. At least one guy would screw it up every time. Like you'll have one guy that'll do it right and one dumbass would end up screwing it up. It infuriated me to do the Denver Bronco tape today on Patreon. It infuriated me to watch that. It was awful, man. They can't. How these guys practicing and they still looking like these? Well, they backups. They don't deserve to be on nobody team and they looking that bad. Come on, man. They ain't just some of these guys. They've been with the team 4 months and they running the same effing plays, man. They running the same plays. How do you look so bad getting to where you supposed to be? And when they get there, they late. There were plays on that tape where I seen guys pull. Nick Saldiveri would pull, and instead of attacking the defensive end, he would pause and wait to see what the guy doing. I'm like, why did you stop and get flat-footed right there? And then Kamara is following him, and then he starts moving again, but he's not moving fast enough to get to the blocker or get to the defensive player before Kamara runs into his stupid ass back. So I'm like, man, what's wrong with these guys? So you see how upset I am watching the tape, because I'm watching the tape and some of this stuff is not complicated. They done dumbed down these running plays. You don't see double motion and all that stuff going on. You see simple stuff on that film. Dude, it's so frustrating to watch the tape. I'm like, put these effing guys in the street and go find guys that can run block. Because if them guys get banged up again, you going to go back to that trash on the back up there? They cannot be counted on. You can't, man. If Cesar Ruiz dealing with a bum knee, fam, he been out for several weeks. Big guys get knee issues that tend to linger. He has a knee issue, not an arm or whatever. That's Cesar Ruiz got a knee issue. This Lucas Patrick dude, to me, is already a backup. Even though he's starting for the Saints, he shouldn't be starting for the Saints, to be honest with you. He's supposed to be a backup. He only starts for you if your starter is not there. It's just amazing to me, man. It's amazing. I don't be all mad with it, but man, it's frustrating to see that dumbness, man. Put them guys, like if they have an issue, is sooner or later, if somebody gets banged up, because we're week 8? Week 8, we're approaching the center of the season. It's still a lot of football left. And when you got issues, get rid of those backups that can't block and go get guys while you can. See, I wouldn't have to tell Andy Reid this, or I don't have to tell people that got good football sense that don't sit on their ass and watch film because they're watching the same tape I'm seeing and letting these guys get away with this every damn game. And Alvin Kamara running into their back, him getting frustrated, dropping the ball because he can't do their job unless they do their job. He just cool. Alvin Kamara's a cool dude, man, to deal with that, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Alvin Kamara's super cool to deal with that bullshit. I've been cussing each and one of them dudes out for real. That's what they need. Somebody need to cuss them out and tell them to do their goddamn job. Get paid, whatever. Do what you getting paid, collecting a check, then do your goddamn job, man. You're not building skyscrapers, you're blocking the man in front of you. And if you can't do that, get your ass out of here, man. Go clean a building or something. Go sell cars. Whatever you got to do. But you don't need to be on nobody's professional football team if you can't block. These simple ass blocking assignments that they've been practicing for weeks. They can't get it right. Thank you, Brent. Appreciate you, man. He says, help us, Dick Gregory, please. Let me get him tuned up. Dick, what you got to say?
The problem is you trying to talk with your shit and you don't know nothing instead of listening.
Next man.
Okay? No. I get $40,000, nigga, and I dare motherfucker to pop.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you. You're fuck too kind.
It's frustrating, dude. It's so frustrating, man, to watch that tape, to see these guys, man. I hate bad football. I hate that, man, because these guys block all the time. They're supposed to be practicing every week. This whole week, they'll tell you, we got a good week of practice. We've been kicking ass in practice. And then they get out there, and then you can't even get 50 yards, 60 yards. You can't do nothing. I'm just tired of it, man. I'm tired of seeing the stinky, rotten, dumb shit. As soon as it shows itself, you get rid of it. That's why this guy don't need to be nobody coach. He can't even evaluate his team. You spot poor offensive linemen and get their asses out of here. Ali Udo should be gone, man. Ali Udo sucks. He's terrible. He shouldn't be here. And some of these other guys they need to be gone, bro. I'm serious. They can't block at all, dude. Dumb getting there, can't shed, can't get to the next level, stupid, reaching, falling down, tripping, getting pushed over because they blocking too high, technique bad. And this is what I'm looking at the tape saying, what effing week are we in? And it looks this trifling. Man, we got to do better. You goddamn right you do. You got 4 weeks before the bye week. 4 weeks before the bye week, and 2-2 in 4 weeks is not good enough. Especially a loss to Atlanta is not acceptable. It is not acceptable for the Atlanta Falcons to sweep you. Let's say that again. Let's say that again. It is not acceptable for the Atlanta Falcons to sweep you. They bet not lose to the Falcons. They bet not lose to the Falcons. 4 weeks before the bye. How many games do you have them winning? Because they really need to go 4-0 or at least win 3 of the 4 to get back to being relevant again before the bye. They set themselves up for position because even though it's not quite the gauntlet that it was early in the year, but it is what it is. And like I said, this is what I'm saying about guys like Dennis Allen. Like we wait for some of these injured players to get back. Man, listen, these guys can get injured again. Listen, I'm not saying it on, but I'm saying, listen, we've seen Lucas Patrick injured and come back twice already. What make you think a third time wouldn't be relevant? We got Cesar Ruiz has a knee issue. Big guys, offensive line with knee issues. That's a problem. Because I remember how Ruiz looked when he was playing with an injury with his knee, and he didn't look that good. But they look better than what we've seen over the last several weeks, because you can't get no worse than that. Anything will look better than that. And I'm talking about, for my people that don't know what I'm saying, keep what you're talking about. I'm talking about the tape, fam. We did, like every week I do the all 22. It's on Patreon. Every week I did, if the Denver Broncos tape was another shitty performance, man. Because I think that was the lowest total the Saints scored offensively against the Broncos. And you look at when they try to run the ball, fam, it is so bad. Like, pass blocking is one thing, but run blocking is always some dumbass that end up doing something he ain't supposed to be doing. He gets pushed down. He's reaching. They can't seal. And it's like, dude, who are these guys, man? They can't seal, but you see Denver sealing and letting their guys get to the next level. We got a guy like Alvin Kamara. He out there running around. He got broken this and banged up, and the man out there running his ass off, playing with big old heart, and that offensive line getting paid to do nothing, man. They can't even run the ball. Terrible, man. Thank you for the super chat, man. Kubiak, to me, I know a lot of people like Kubiak, and I like Kubiak. To me, Kubiak is still a good offensive coordinator, but he's being tested right now. The big test for him, he has to be able to adjust without using guys that over-relying on guys that's hurt. The dude has something wrong in his head, or something, a blockage, a mental blockage. I don't know what it is. Because I promise you, if Taysom's available, watch him overuse Taysom and Alvin Kamara. You can't do that to injured players, because you want to have them around for the summation of the season, and we just getting to week 8. And Taysom was in and he was out. So like I was saying, man, you can't beat them guys up like that. You got to spread that workload over your entire length of your skill set players that you got. That's why Jamal Williams is on the team. That's why Kendra, Jordan Mims and other players are there. You picked them people to be there. You said you like those guys, and you got to figure out a way to get them included into the offense. And that guy has not been able to do that effectively. And that is why, in part, the Saints offense look like what it's looking. You got to call foul on that and say, man, these offensive linemen, bro, these guys right here, we've given them game after game. They still look bad. Let's get you out of here. Listen, we appreciate your contribution. You got paid, right? Yes, sir. Get your ass out of here. Go ahead. Don't let peace out. We don't need no Max Garcias running around here. And that's what we got. We got Max Garcias running around here. We don't need no shitty Max Garcia type players in here. And somebody who can't even call them out. And it's just, I'm still happy that we're going through this process, man. Because it shows you that if you're a good coach, you're supposed to spot stuff like that. You don't think Andy Reid would have seen that? Or any competent coach would have seen that shit right there and let it happen game after game where they can't even run the ball. Each game, I keep saying, don't do that to Spencer Rattler. You can't put him in there and roll him out every possession. We're going to roll him out to the right. We're going to roll him out to the left, because they can't run. So they got to compensate for the fact the line is shitty, that they can't even put runs up between tackles. So you got to roll Spencer out here, there, and the defense says, well, they can't run, man. We're going to have to run. They don't. And fixing the run is getting guys that can run block. And run block's supposed to be a stable. Any offensive lineman is supposed to know how to run block. You just got bad ones. But if you can put A.T. Perry in the street, why not put Saldiveri in the street? He ain't doing shit. Or put him on the IR, or stash him somewhere, whatever you got to do. He hurt right now anyway. Just IR him and free up the spot. Put Ali Udo. I'll tell you what to do. Put Ali Udo in the street. Put Nick Saldiveri on the injured list and go out and find you. That's 2 open spots, and go out there to the practice squad or to the trade market of free agency and go find you some guards that can be backups just in case Ruiz gets hurt. And Lucas Patrick is not a full-time starter, in my opinion. He should be a backup. So this is my thoughts, man. But we'll see if they can roll those guys out there and get some these guys, man. Amazing. Absolutely amazing, man. Let's finish up with Dennis Allen, bro.
How much to talk about injuries or anything like that, but like getting these guys back on the field, how much can that improve or affect the product on the field? And
I mean, obviously, getting guys back that, you planned on being starters, you planned on counting on, and in particular, some of these guys are kind of key cogs in what we do, offensively. And so, hopefully we're able to get, majority of these guys back and be more consistent offensively. Like I said, we've done some good things. We've moved the ball at times, but then we made some critical mistakes that, have cost us. So hopefully that'll help us, be better.
Defensively, does Pete Werner make a big impact in run defense and whatever?
I think Pete Werner makes a big impact in a lot of things that we do. I mean, his intelligence, his communication skills. I think those are all good qualities that he has that I think is going to help our defense.
Now go on, you take care of the cake. You possum puss, get that punch out there, or you'll get one from me. Go on.
Bottom line is, I like Pete Werner. They gave Pete Werner the contract extension, but listen, Pete Werner is a smart linebacker. But at the end of the day, Pete Werner is going to get blocked out just like Demario Davis. Fam, did y'all see that tape? Go back and if y'all didn't get a chance to watch the All 22 on Patreon today, I purposely put on tape and watched Demario Davis over the last 2 days, 2 games rather, and really a little longer than that. But just in the timeline of just 2 games, Demario Davis looks awful. There are plays in the games where I've pinpointed where Demario Davis is out of the play. Sometimes it doesn't even chase the guy down. He looks awful in some of these games. His age is showing rapidly, especially on this losing streak. In the Denver Broncos game, you could kind of talk about the fact that they were tired and the Saints played 3 games in 10 days, which is a bit of a gauntlet. It's a mini gauntlet. But it ain't like you knew you was going to not go through that because you had the practice, you had the goddamn schedule when I got it months ago. So at some point we notice, what we got to go through. None of this shit just sprang up on us. But also a part of it is the offense not being able to run the ball to get the defense to rest. But at the same time, there's no excuse for some of the plays that the plays that I've seen Demario Davis miss out there, especially in the last couple of games. The missed tackles, getting to spots too late, standing flat foot as opposed to attacking. When he's staring right at things, there was a play where Demario Davis had an opportunity to get around a player to get to a hole to stop the guy from having a big gain of run yardage, but he stayed right where he was behind the defensive player, Carl Granderson, who was getting double blocked. Now, he could have hopped out and jammed or threw himself in between where the hole at. So when the running back gets, behind, to the right of the I think it was the left guard there, that he would be in position to make a play or at least force the guy to break down and think about what he's going to do so people can converge because they had players in that area. You just need to buy time to slow him down. He stayed flat-footed behind the guy, and then the offensive lineman shed it off of Carl Granderson. It was double blocking Carl Granderson. They double blocked him to the ground, not to the ground, but he was on his one knee. They were double blocking him down. He got to on one knee, and Demario was behind him. And then instead of jumping out in front of the running back, eventually he sat there flat-footed, and the lineman shed it off of Carl Granderson and got to where he was and blocked him out so that the running back had he had a pretty respectable gain on that play. If y'all put one in the chat if y'all know which play I'm talking about. But there were plays when I seen Demario Davis outright miss easy tackles, outright was sitting in positions flat-footed, staring. He know what he's looking at, but staring flat-footed and reacting slow to get to where he was. Now, the thing about it too is defensively, Pete Werner coming off an injury. I think Pete has a hamstring issue coming off it. Let me tell you something, man. I played linebacker before. The linebacker position is contingent in many ways on how good your defensive line is. If them defensive linemen is not one of those interior defensive linemen is not drawing a double team, your ass is not going to be clean in that game. You're not going to be clean in that game. Or you're going to have to be very proactive in what you're doing to understand that you might have to play a little bit more aggressive and take shots to get to where you need to be because you're anticipating that your line up front is not working. Like I said, one of those guys, whether it's Shepard or it's Saunders, one of those guys got to command a double team because it's 5 offensive linemen against 4 of your defensive guys, which means they got you beat by 1. Somebody has to draw the double to absorb one of those offensive linemen, whether it's the center or the guard. That's usually how it works, because he'll double block on one or whatever. It's always one guy. That's why you're supposed to have a big old massive interior run stuff and nose tackle type person that's so massive that it takes 2 guys to block them. So you have one-on-one matchups everywhere else. If you don't have that, if they are blocking your interior guys 1-to-1, that extra lineman will get his hands on them effing linebackers. That's how it's designed. And wherever he puts his goddamn hands on them linebackers, you best believe that running back is following them over there. He's following them to it. And if you watch the footage, you'll see that that extra lineman is sheds off the block and finds whatever linebacker that is there, where that running back need to get to at that second level. Watch the footage. It happens consistently all the time. I'm talking how it goes. Them guys, that lineman is shedding off of that defensive tackle, and he gets to that linebacker level, whether that's Willie Gay or Demario Davis. It doesn't make a difference. That big guy getting there, and he pushing them on out the way, and that running back picking up 5 yards at least, which is what the Saints are giving up. Jeff Duncan had the stat where the Saints are allowing 5.4 yards rushing on them. 5.4 yards rushing. That's the most in franchise history. That's because that them interior guys is not drawing the double team and the linebackers are not playing clean. When you have big defensive tackles that draw, that means Demario and Willie Gay, they can roam around, blitz if they want to, drop in coverage, they can do what they want. But when that guy sheds off and he attacks that linebacker, that running back going wherever that extra lineman going. And like I said, he getting at least 5 yards. And if they keep doing it, it's 2 yards, it's two rushes first down, which is what the hell has been happening to the Saints. Actually, it's beyond that. 5.4 is ridiculous. And y'all see, I showed y'all the stats at the Saints defensive rank, giving up the most yards in the entire NFL. Their offense is ranked 20. I mean, their rush defense is ranked 28. Their defense overall, in terms of giving up yards, is 32 in the NFL. Their running game, when you run on them, is 28th in the NFL, and their secondary is 28. And so they all can share the load of how bad they are. This is something that I wouldn't have seen. I was like, at least the defense, if the defense is a top 5 or a top 10 unit, that changes everything. Fam, your defense is 32nd. Who in the world would have said during this season that the New Orleans Saints defense at week number 8 would be ranked 32 in the NFL, and their secondary would be ranked 28th, and their rush defense would be ranked 28th and 32 overall in yards they're giving up? Who would have said that? Nobody. That's a supporter of the team would say, man, that's ridiculous. One thing I know is the Saints defense will be strong. Even if I don't know anything about the offense, I know the Saints defense will be strong. Shit. It is what it is. You got more to fix up. And the thing is, the problem is the lines. The offensive lines, defensive lines. You can't win if the line bad, fam. The Saints are terrible in stopping the run, and the secondary is probably a little bit better than that. But those linebackers, man, they're not playing clean. And it's up to the Saints, it's up to Dennis Allen to figure a way. He gonna have to move his lineups around. They got to figure a way to clog up the middle, to free up his linebackers so they can roam around and make plays, or either in blitz, do whatever they need to do. So we got problems here. The Saints defense is horrible, man. 32nd in the most yards given up, 28th secondary, and 28th against the rush, man. It's only 32 teams in the NFL, and the Saints is 28. And it's ridiculous, man. So the problem, that's why it's an issue, is because it's not, they're trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, it's this, that, and the third. Fam, your offense, you're getting dominated on the offensive line and you're getting dominated on the defensive line. You're losing the trench war, both sides. Both sides, going this way and that way. You're losing both sides. And we wondering why we on a 5-game slide. You're losing the trench war. You're not beating teams. You're not sacking anybody. You're not running the ball a gobble up clock. You're not doing none of that. This is all backwards, man. I don't know what Dennis Allen's talking about, fam, but at the end of the day, man, it doesn't make any sense to me. Thank you, Gundam, for the super chat, bro. Appreciate it. Thank you, brother Q. Been a member since 27. Appreciate you, fam. Thank you, bro. I seen your comment, man, about I don't know how that happened, bro. I don't know how that happened with you losing your whatchamacallit. I think YouTube be tripping, man. I think it's up to a certain period. I don't know what it is, but I don't really go in there and mess with that. Once I make you a mod, I make you a mod. Like I don't really early on, like a lot of my day ones, I made them mods, and I don't really, do the mod. I don't really touch all of that. But if, because I think you was a mod before, and if it removed you, because I've known cases where YouTube would unsubscribe you. They would, the system, I think it might be a glitch or something like that, but it would unsubscribe you. Like, well, how did I get unsubscribed? I didn't do it. It does that. I've heard cases from it. It's not a perfect system. It makes mistakes, But anyway, thank you for the super chat, brother.
Thank you. Get fucked too kind.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that, man. Much love to you, brother Gundam. Thank you, sir. I don't get it, fam. I really don't get it. And listen, like I said, to me, it's not about good or bad. I look at it like this, and I've said this before. This purging has to happen. This is a purge process. This team is not being operated correctly, and they've been exposed. Dennis Allen is exposed. Mickey Loomis is a clown. I've exposed him. I've constantly, over the last couple of years, have been showing you that he's living off a rep that was given to him by Sean Payton. He hired Sean Payton, but he was an expensive gopher. He has no imagination, and he's told to do things by the coach. He believes that Dennis Allen is some type of Sean Payton coach. Even though Dennis Allen coaches a good defense at times, you can't even say that right now because his defense is worse than his offense, statistically speaking, if you don't believe that. Can you believe that? If you don't, how about this? Let me show you something. Let me cheat you something right here on these goddamn stats. Look at this. This is via way of New Orleans Saints website, by the way. This is their damn website, so you'll know where the number. So this is posted on their site, as you can see, NewOrleansSaints.com. If you go down to this information, we'll use some of this information tomorrow when we preview the squads to the regular season rankings. You look at the Saints' total offense, they 28th. The defense, the total defense is 32. Their running offense is 19th, tied for 19. The passing attack, the Saints averaging less than 200 yards per game. That's 21 in the NFL. The defense is dead last in terms of its total defense, giving up 395 yards a game. That's dead last in the NFL. They're rushing, stopping the run. They allow 147 yards per game. That's 28th. They allow you to throw at them for 241.1. That's 28. So statistically speaking, their offense is better than their defense. How do you explain that, Mr. Dennis Allen? The defense is worse. How do you explain that? Yeah, I'm up late, brother. Yeah, I'm up. It's 1 o'clock, man. I'm in here spitting on the Saints, man. Talking shit. Yeah, John, you know it, man. I don't know if it's a glitch in the matrix, but it happens, man. It happens. It really does. But in the end, like I said, this must happen, man. It must happen to change the dynamic of where we heading as a team. It has to happen. We have to go through this. So, like I said, the next 4 games. How many games of the last 4 games, the next 4, you have the Chargers away. You got the, who's after that? Chargers away, and it's Carolina. So you got Chargers, Carolina away. Then you come home for 3 games, but 2 before the bye, which is the Falcons, and then the second one is the Browns with Jameis. That's the next 4 games. I give you the matchup against the Cardinals. The Carolina Panthers, because they bad. But you can't lose to Atlanta. It's just, and 2-2 is not good enough. Like 2-2 puts you at what, 4-7 into the bye. That ain't good enough. That ain't good enough at all. You in a hole. You got to win at least 3 out of the 4. You got to win at least 3 out of 4 to get close. That's respectable. But anything less than that, going 2-2 and 4 is not good, man. Hell, you might end up going 1-3. If that happens and they go 1-3, it depends on these games and he falls out. Like I said, statistically speaking, and you look at his defense, they're missing tackles. Even Richard Sherman got on television and said, I don't know what's going on with the Saints. Look like they're trying to get their coach fired. Nah, they ain't trying to get him fired. The Saints is not motivated to win. I don't think they hate Dennis Allen because Tyrann Mathieu be jiffing his ass. He be jazzy jeffing his ass off for Dennis Allen. Maybe if that was Laddie that dropped it, you might have had a point on that. But Tyrann Mathieu be jazzy jeffing his ass off for Dennis Allen. So, this must happen. So a lot of the family members, don't turn your heads. Look at it. Look at it what it is. We can watch it when they win and we can watch it when they lose because this is necessary. We've gone over the next 4 weeks. We're going to get to a point where we about to purge all this out of here. We about to get all this foolishness out of at least the Dennis Allen side of it. Statistically speaking, you can't get up off of, Carr's contract because of they restructured his contract this year, which basically locked him up for 2 years. You can't get rid of him without absorbing a huge, ridiculous amount of dead money. We talking $50+ and $60+ million, depending on what year. So you're stuck with Carr. Whoever you bring in here as a head coach, you got Carr with you for the next 2 years. And nobody going to accept a trade for him. Nobody really wanted him when he hit free agency except for the Saints. And the other team went and looked at him and they said, no, we ain't giving you that. The Saints said, we'll give you a blank check, Dennis Allen. So then even if you get rid of Dennis Allen, you still have symptoms of Dennis Allen's decisions that have impacted the team over the last 3 years. So you would have to get a coach, an interim coach who would inspire confidence in the team. A guy that knows how to talk to the team, stuff like that. That's why I said, once they get rid of him, I would like a guy like Joe Woods to be the interim coach because I believe Joe Woods is a guy that can inspire this team. He's smart enough to talk to the players and earn their respect. I think Joe Woods would be a good guy for that. I wouldn't say Clint Kubiak because Clint Kubiak can't coach his way out of it. I mean, he can't adjust right now. And I don't think you promote a guy for what he's been doing. His offense has been awful. His offense ain't been worth the shit. So the 2 games, but 2 games versus 5 games. You could say that if the team was 2-2, like I was doing, I was looking like, which team is it? What team is it? What team is it? Is the one in weeks 1 and 2 or the weeks 3 and 4 Saints? Which team is it? No, we know now. With 5, you got 5 games worth of it, and you could throw all the injuries all you want in there. But injuries was going to impact your team. It do everybody's team. But when you seen the backups do what they was doing and they look bad, you're supposed to get them guys out of here, man. Them guys ain't supposed to be coming to the practice facility after showing up looking like that week after week on that tape. You see how bad these guys looking on the tape? Man, I couldn't even go through the whole tape. I did like an hour and I don't know how much. I went some change of studying the film on Patreon. I couldn't even go through. I was getting pissed off looking at it, man. So don't turn your head. Look square at it. Don't turn your head. Look it right in the eyes and know what it is. It's always, man, like I've been saying before, if you're a person of substance, you're going to be tested. You're going to go through some tests. You're going to go through some stuff. You're going to go through some stuff because the rewards are worth the test. That's why the test don't seem like a test when you know it's a test for what you really want beyond there. And then you look at it, it's like, oh man, I go through that all day because I know what that reward gonna look like. So we good, bring on the test. That's how I am with me. I'm like, man, whatever, man. I know what time it is. I know what I'm made from. I know what cloth I'm cut from. I know what perspective I have, what vision I have. I know what morals I have. Say, come on. Because everybody, even the best of the best and the worst of the worst, baby, gonna go through tests. You all get a chance. It's how you can you keep, your dignity or your self-respect while you're going through that test. That's what it's about. It's not about the destination. It's about the trip from getting from A to B. It's the if you can enjoy the period of travel between the starting point and the destination, because the destination ain't it. Once you get there, that's it. Then you go to somewhere else. It's not, you're not going to stay there. You're going to keep moving. It's just one part of the journey. You get from there and then you get there. You rest a little bit, then you keep it moving. You go to the next one. So it's the life is in the journey, the point between the starting point and the destination. You got to enjoy that period, and that period is known as the test period. Whether you really want to get to where you need to be. So in the end, like I said, everybody goes through these purge processes. The Saints going through them right now. This man shouldn't have had the job. And at the end of the process, what it does show is it fully exposes the Who Dat Nation. It lets it know who's the problem, who's the cancer of the team. Now everybody knows with a resounding certainty that the cancer of the Saints is Mickey Loomis. You see that? They know they don't look past Dennis Allen. They know Dennis Allen wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mickey Loomis. Now, all the shit I've been saying for the last 2 odd years, people are starting to say, man, damn. So I had to turn the man into a cartoon character. I had to make funny sounds with his voice. Oh, hold on now. Hold on. Don't make fun of me. Oh, God damn it. That type of stuff. To make you see what I've been seeing myself, I say, man, listen, y'all don't understand who this guy is. Q, he won a Super Bowl ring. Well, I ain't got another one? Because it wasn't him. It was Peyton. He was the gopher. Okay, like Dame Dash told Jay-Z, he wouldn't be nothing without him. And Jay-Z told him, well, make another one. They telling me that they made Hove, then make another Hove. That's what he told Dame Dash. Guess what? Dame Dash couldn't. So it is what it is, man. In the end, all them guys are getting fully exposed, man. You know, and I'm happy for that. I'm happy that truth's coming out on them, man. And just don't turn away. Don't get sad. Just look at it what it is, because this is necessary. We might lose some games in the near future. We might get swept by the Falcons. I hate to say it, but it's possible. It's possible we don't turn it around. We could be swept by the Falcons. And just remember what we did to Falcons. Like when we beat the snot out of the Falcons and embarrassed them at the end of last year, right? When we ran it up on them, embarrassed them, and we got their coach fired. Y'all remember that? We got their coach fired. Remember all that? And then what they do? Terry Fontenot went there and went and took all the weaknesses, got him a couple of quarterbacks, got his team together. Even though they're not the best, they better than what they were last year. They're not all that, but they better than what they were last year. They sit up there at 4-3, them in Tampa Bay, sitting at 1-2, are tied for first place in the NFC South right now. So, but the thing is, it happens, man. Like some of these guys don't deserve to be here, and the universe will start removing them. And some of that involves losing, because you won't be able to get rid of him because the guy ain't supposed to be here. He don't know what he's doing, man. The man over his head. We know the man over his head. I know when I'm looking at a person, I can see that something's over their head. This is over his head, man. He don't have the proper skill set to deal with this type of situation, man. He's going to ultimately get fired. This is what's going to happen, man. History repeating itself. In his third year, he got fired when he was with the Raiders. It's going to happen here. The only reason why it didn't happen now is because you have an egotistical moron on top of the team that's trying to save face. So he's going to give him all the time that he could possibly do. But I'm telling you, it won't happen for him if you don't get him to the bye. If he don't win 3 of the 1, if he losing, if the only team he beats is the Carolina Panthers and they go 1-3 over the next 4, they're going to put that. They can't save him from that. They can't save him from that. That's too far of a hold from right there. And if they tried to go beyond that, then we get even harder core. We cut them off. Don't buy nothing from them. To cut them off because they disrespecting. There's no way in the NFL a man can have 3 years or 9 playoff years and sitting up there on a 5-game losing streak. And if he loses 3 of the next 4 games, he still keeps his job. There's no way in the NFL where that even exists. They fired Robert Saleh, and he was only 1 game under 500 to try to save their season. They still lost, but at least they did something to try to shake something loose. They know that the team, the head coach is the person, his energy is over the team. And if you don't have a direction, if you don't know what he's doing, you're not going anywhere. So I'm glad that information is getting out there about Mickey Loomis. I done put Mickey on Front Street, man. Now everybody out there saying, that's done. I'm like, I'm glad y'all, I'm glad that we all here together, because it was lonely sitting up there while everybody else and us, just a handful of us here saying it. Now the entire Who Dat Nation sees it. The Who Dat Nation sees all of it now. They see who the cancer of the team is. And when they see that, then we can really have some fun. So anyway, listen, man, I'm going to take a few comments from you guys and I'm going to get out of here because it's 1:17 my time. And I got some work to do tomorrow, so be a little tired. So I'm going to drink some coffee. But I'm in here. All right, Levon says, we got to win the next 8, no question. Thank you, Levon. Thank you. Gundam says, question, think we have a slim chance for the playoffs because other NFC teams are dealing with injuries also, brother Q. Thank you, Gundam. It's always a chance, bro, but it depends on how fast Saints could turn this around. Like, I don't think Dennis Allen ain't the answer, man. His defense can't stop a nosebleed. They getting passed on at record numbers. They getting ran on record numbers. I mean, fam, the numbers, when I started looking at the numbers of the defense, I was outdone. I was like, how is the defense ranked 32nd in the NFL? Because they're giving up 395 yards a game. How's the secondary ranked 28th? Because they're giving up 241 yards per game. How the rushing attack is ranked 28th because they're giving up 147 yards on the ground. They can't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop a nosebleed. They're getting ran on and through on. You see how effortlessly Denver moved the ball on them, Kansas City moved the ball on them, and then they'll calcify toward the back end and force you to kick a field goal, but you have to score because they will give up a touchdown here. They'll give up a touchdown here. They'll get you. You'll get a penalty. Yeah, they are. That's something that's the biggest surprise right there. That the Saints defense is ranked 32nd in total yards, and the secondary and the running attack is 28th apiece. That's surprised because I didn't think that the defense would go beyond it, would stay within the realm of a top 15 or middle of the pack. I never foreseen that they would drop to dead last in the NFL. And we sitting up here, why we so bad? You can't stop a nosebleed. And some of that tied to the offense because the offense can't run the ball to spare the defense, give them some time to rest. So the defense gets worn down. And a lot of times it's not the time thing too. It's a part of it. But a lot of these running plays be happening on the Saints at the start of the games. Like how often you seen the Saints first possession out the gate and they just walk the ball down the field on the Saints? I was like, man, that first series was really suspect. How we didn't have any resistance on that play. Just walked the ball down on the Saints. So I don't know, man. It's always a slim chance, brother Gundam, but it's closing very fast, brother. They got to do something, man. They banking on the hurt players like Cesar Ruiz and Lucas Patrick to come back, and these guys, I don't know, because these men been hurt before, and then they go right back to the injury list, and then you go right back to these garbage backup players that can't do anything. So I don't know. Gundam also says win the next 8. Now, wow, that's a tall chance because we are not consistent. I'm looking at just the 4, bro. I got it broke down into 4, which is Chargers, Panthers away. Both games are away. You got to travel to Los Angeles, and then you come home. Then you got to travel to Carolina. So it's an East Coast, West Coast game. So it's a lot of travel involved. Then you come home for Atlanta and Cleveland. And Cleveland has Jameis as a starting quarterback because Watson's hurt for the year. So Cleveland, you don't even have that. Jameis is going to come in there focused to beat you if he's healthy by that time. So it could be a different looking team, bro. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, we're going to see, man. We're going to see. But it's a chance, man. The window's still hadn't closed because they're not mathematically eliminated, but it's going to take some turnaround there. Levon says, before we was 2-5 our league, we'll lose to LA. Nothing has changed. The team is better than the Saints. Real talk. We're losing. If we can't run, we are problems. All right, Slim. We're going to have some problems if we can't run, bro. Ain't no doubt about it. Slim says, one word, Hectic. Yeah, it's definitely getting hectic, man. In the words of Snap, it's definitely that. It's beyond hectic, man. If they had a song that you could play, it's beyond hectic, right? It's beyond hectic, brother. You know, you might make the remix for that one. Shout out to you, brother Dame. Appreciate y'all. Demetrius says playoffs. You kidding me? No, they're not eliminated. They're not mathematically eliminated, man. They're still available because a lot of stuff can happen between here and there. Like I said, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of games left, man. They're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. A lot of stuff can happen. Like the Saints could get rid of Dennis Allen. And like I said, over the next four games, to me, would determine a lot. If Dennis Allen goes 1-3 over the next 4 games and he's not fired, man, don't go down there at all. Shut these. Matter of fact, I would do it right now. Then you would know that Mickey Loomis is not operating out of logic. He's operating off emotion, which is, and I've been saying that for a while. It'll just be veritas to prove what I've been saying is facts. There's not a person that's more emotional in that building except for Loomis. He's not. And I was wrong though. I'm gonna say something. I was wrong. I'm gonna tell you why I was wrong. I was wrong. I said that Mickey Loomis was governing out of emotion. He's not governing out of emotion. I'm gonna turn that around. I'm gonna tell you. I believe that he's not governing out of emotion. He's not blind. He is governing out of emotion. Let me correct myself. Wow, what I was wrong on was that he's not blind. He's ignorant. It's a difference between somebody that's blind, that don't know, and somebody that knows better, but doing it because they're imposing power. Like, you're not going to tell me how to run my team, even though you're dead wrong. That's what he's guilty of. He's not blind. That's wrong. Blind would mean that you don't know what you're doing, insofar as like you're ignorant. No, this dude been in the NFL for 20 plus years. He's not operating from an ignorant and like a blind standpoint, or a person who don't know. He's ignorant and arrogant. Like, we've shown you he's arrogant, calling people classless. Oh, that's classless. You're not qualified. We just funny sounded some bitch trying to tell somebody they're not qualified to talk about his bullshit coaching and losses. That's arrogance, man. I despise arrogant. I despise arrogant people. I really do. I despise arrogant people because we all come from the hand of the Most High. So not one better than the other. So this arrogant thing for some employee that work for somebody, that's ridiculous to me. But in the end, all I could tell you, man, is that he can't beat the Who Dat Nation. That's all I know. He can't beat us. But anyway, listen, I'm gonna get ready to get out on that. Listen, I'm gonna cut out. It's 1:30 Central Time, my time. I'm gonna be back what tomorrow is. I think tomorrow is Friday. Yeah, no, tomorrow. Today is Thursday. I'm sorry. Today is Thursday. Yes, I will be back Thursday later on this day, and we'll get into the Saints Charger breakdown, the players, the scheme, all that kind of stuff. We'll break down and talk about all that on the show. So much love to the fam, and I appreciate y'all. Y'all do me a service. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Check out our great sponsors of the broadcast, Mint Mobile, T. Chinley, where you get 20 to 40% down on your order, and BetOnline, man. Those are the sponsors of the PRO Media Network. They show us a lot of love, man, and I would ask you guys to show them some love too, man. Get a good phone from Mint Mobile on some great inexpensive prices, man. You know how it is nowadays, how this stuff is high as hell, man. We got to find a deal where we can get it, man, and maybe you can save some money on your phone through Mint Mobile. Check it out. And of course, T. Chinley, you know, that's for the men. That's men's skincare products, face, all this kind of stuff. You know, the ladies really appreciate that, man. They really do. And of course, BetOnline. Shit, if you can't make money with the Saints, maybe you can make money against the Saints. Hell, get your money. But anyway, with that being said, man, I'm out of here. I'm going to holler at y'all on tomorrow's stream. Much love. Who Dat to you, Pete.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like this and I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. Every stat, matchup, breakdown, even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. With the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA to political props. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.
WhoDatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoDatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoDatDaily.com is your site. The WhoDatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. So check out the Pro Shop and Who Dat too.